Hello everyone and welcome back into the Backlist. Today we're going to be reading a article about Star Wars and the new Star Wars news of having a female-centric Star Wars TV show. Um, and I think for a lot of people, if you may know that I really like Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I grew up when I was a kid, and obviously I am not that big of a fan of I guess the Disney Star Wars. I think it was really mainly The Last Jedi that kind of turned the screw in. I like a few elements of something like Rogue One and obviously The Mandalorian, but majority of it I do not like. And we've seen the witness of such a phenomenal franchise just get completely demolished in this modern climate. So let's just read this article about how Disney executives are. I think the key word here is livid. That seems to be the key word everyone's talking about. A new rumor indicates that Disney top executives in Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are livid over a new rumored female-centric Star Wars series. From Leslie Headland's first reported by Variety. Now, the main reason why this is very interesting, and I think a lot of people have talked about it before, is that this doesn't seem like this would have been kept for something like Star Wars Celebrations, or there would have been like an official press release, something a little bit more bigger, especially in Star Wars' past as well as Disney's past. When they do something like this, it's a lot more bigger, and this feels like very small scale in comparison. Now, obviously, what's happening right now with the beer virus, I guess, things can be scaled back, and you can read into that. However, you can also read into that there seems to be more at play here. And it is very interesting on essentially what's going on here. But essentially, I'm going to read the kind of quote the WDW Pro has said. All right, I usually am the one explaining what's going on behind the scenes, but I could just use a little help with this one. I've got a friend in the know who says the morning Pacific time, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are unhappy with Lucasfilm, and there is faster than normal movement going on to get high level meetings going. What meetings going on? What the heck is going on? I'm on the road, so I can't dig this. But what I could possibly be going on with Lucasfilm that would create a scurry within everyone is basically working from home at all. The term is used livid, but I can't imagine what they could possibly have done. So later in the thread, another user guessed that the reason behind the livid might have to do with the rumored female-centric Star Wars series and former Harvey Weinstein personnel assistant Leslie Headland. Now, in general, hiring someone who is in relation to Weinstein, and I guess the Weinstein company is, it is not only because like you'd say the company, a lot of people work behind Weinstein, but like the you can say personal assistant for at least a year. That's like very close. So she, first of all, that's toxic in the reason why she was very close to the situation. So that's kind of like a number one thing why maybe the Disney executives are a little bit hesitant, because you're hiring someone who was so close to someone who did some acts and is still relatively active, I guess, in the news cycle. So that's kind of the first point of this. And I think the second point of it is, people like me and other different fans, we've voiced our opinions on, agenda-driven films, and we don't like them. And this is playing in kind of that vibe where they're just going straight for the oh yeah, it's female centric. And I actually really enjoyed the takedown that John Campea had from one of her the females that he was co-hosting with, were basically being like, yeah, why if it was all males, or like had majority males, does it get reported as a all male show or movie, and it doesn't. It clearly shows the agenda of, hey, we're going to hire a bunch of females, or alphabet people to kind of do whatever we need to do, and that's kind of what's going on here. And yeah, no one enjoys it, and that's the thing. I really want to enjoy what Lucasfilm is doing, but time and time again they prove to be false. I think something like The Mandalorian is 100% like an outlier, and majority of the heads at Lucasfilm, they're quite shady. and especially what's going on here. You know, I've read about this, and you know, the Clanfish TV had a breakdown about it. Essentially, what it feels like is that, you know, Lucasfilm currently at the moment are in scrambles, and a lot of media is. You know, essentially over here it says, then he continues, now if you have 2015 brain, now you have 2015 brain, 2015 brain, you go out there and you put yourself there and you put your face out there and you talk about women power, you're going to scare the studios into not canceling your shows. But Disney, that is in dire straits now, they're not going to put up with that shit. And that's kind of the essence of what's going on. You know, essentially now businesses don't have the resources to kind of just randomly shovel in things that they want to do, whether it be agenda driven or anything else. You know, they have to get stuff that works, that works for fans, the people who buy stuff, and cater to their top market. It's kind of like really dumb. It's brain dead. You know, for example, like what the Gillette commercial was about 2 years ago. You know, you're catering to men, but you're insulting men in the ad. What the hell's the point of that? And obviously that you know, they had a lot of resources to you know, fail in a marketing campaign to do so, but a lot of companies don't. Even Disney, for example, you know, a lot of their revenue comes from parks and their movies, but they're all getting delayed and not getting made. So the only money, the current revenue that they're getting is people buying movies that they have, or they get the Disney Plus service. That's the only reason how they're getting money. So then when we look at this, people are speculating that it's jumped the gun and it was purely on, you know, Kathleen Kennedy's watch. You know, essentially the plan seemed to be, what we're going to do here is we're going to hire a female-led, driven and written by a female show. But obviously, you know, with the current state of things, we don't have the money to back stuff like this up. We can't just randomly bank on things that may or may not work. We have to work on things that will work and has 100% succeeded. And we've seen that the political driven movies and TV shows do not work. And this seems to be a move just purely on Kathleen Kennedy's watch to be like, hey, we've got this thing and now you can't cancel it, because everyone, you know, who basically are on Twitter and things like that, they'll just get really angry if it got cancelled. So both Bobs are kind of stuck in a hard place. Basically, they're going to look like enemies to the woke crowd, I guess, on Twitter, but does it matter to them? I don't know. That, you know, like if it gets cancelled, you know, how much of a fan base are you really losing in comparison to the, I guess, really hardcore fans who do buy your stuff and you know, built the franchise up. What made into something that you would purchase off Lucas for $4 billion. I think that's what I'm saying. You got to go back to that. You got to go back to taking care of the fans. You got to go back to taking care of their needs, what they want from Star Wars, what they want from this franchise. And you know, we've seen many video reports recently about this, about the you know, the toys and things like that. And the toys even themselves don't sell that well anymore. And you know, no one really wants the new Star Wars toys. Everyone wants the older characters. So there seems to be like, we want the older characters. They're the ones who resonate more to us than the Disney ones. And you know, they just have a refusal just to give out those, you know, what the fans really want. So with this, it obviously feels like, you know, there's so many things going on. I think the first thing was obviously, you know, the female from from Headlands, when they hired her. I think that's obviously a bad move, just because she's very closely connected to Weinstein, and you probably needed to like not get her something for at least 2 to 3 years or something like that. I have seen her work in Russian Doll. However, I know that's co-created by the star as well. I forgot her name. So I think they kind of worked on it kind of together. So I don't know exactly how, I guess, Headland works 100%, because I really like Russian Doll. Russian Doll is actually pretty damn good. And you know, I wouldn't say it's female centered in a sense of like the character's female, but obviously there's other characters there, and it doesn't have this SJW type talking points. However, you know, way she talks now, it's a lot worse. She's talking in such a way where, you know, there's an interview that says, you know, white people aren't white enough, that's not diverse enough, and you know, that's basically racist. So you've got that second part as well. So like people like me who frame this as racist, she is racist. and sexist, I'm assuming as well. You know, they're the actual ones who are racist and sexist, and we don't want to see any content that they're making. So that's kind of the second part, and I think the third part is this whole part where, you know, both Bobs are just saying, "What the hell's going on? I didn't sign off to this. This wasn't official in a press release. It, you know, this seems to be a scurry and kind of a scramble to get things done because they don't want things to get cancelled. You know, for example, like the Obi-Wan project, you know, even if it's you know, getting delayed and they're gonna do all these rewrites, whatever it is, that's not getting cancelled. That's too much of a high project that people want. That it's pretty much guaranteed success. You know, there are a few things that are 100% guaranteed success. For example, like Solo. No one wanted to see Solo. No one really wanted to see it. It was basically Fast and Furious, but in space. With something like an Obi-Wan thing, people wanted to see it. Clone Wars, people wanted to see it. And that's the thing. Those are sure things. An all-female led Star Wars film is not a sure thing. And, you know, I have no, you know, I don't want to feel, I don't want to act like this when you know, it says that it's a female centric. You know, there's many times back in like the 90s and things like that, like all the way back, you can see many examples of female led things, and they're good, or female centric. However, the modern version of it, I know it's going to be bad. I know it's going to be bad. I don't want to, you know, think like that, but I do know it's going to be bad because they hire the wrong people for the job, because it might be for skin color, or it might be because of their gender, and they don't get people who have high quality, I guess, you know, ways to describe things. You know, even just someone like Joss Whedon, for example, and you know how many great female characters that he's made, like obviously Buffy.
How are you?
Capricorn on the cusp of Aquarius, you?
You know, we've seen so many examples kind of like in the late 90s, early 2000s or something like that. However, it feels like we've regressed in time, and now all we see is a talking point for gender, or, you know, experiences, and it's not a full rounded character. I think that's the problem. Like if we're going to go down this route of female led, okay, then like all these females have to have some sort of insecurity. They all have to have a weakness, and they all have to have a full arc. They all have to be eventually grow together, instead of having this really crappy thing of, I'm just a female, I'm good at everything, and, you know, I guess men are bad type of thing. There has to be more. But it's basically becoming a trope in and of itself. The strong female that can do everything, and there's nothing wrong. It's boring. It's really boring. It's overused, overdone, and no one really likes it. You know, you can see the difference of, for example, like Superman. Superman at one point was so powerful that people got bored of him. So that's why they made the modern iteration of him. He gets his powers from the sun. And that's the only way to make Superman kind of interesting. They need him to have a weakness or things to go through. And a lot of the what Lucasfilm has kind of done, with the modern Star Wars and a lot of different things, is these females don't have any weaknesses. And it's just a real big shame. I don't want to think this way, in a sense of saying all female led stuff will be bad, but the thing is, modern day equivalents will be, and I have not been proven wrong yet. But yeah, that's actually it for this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more deep diving into, you know, I guess Star Wars, different comic book news, movie news, and things like that, and movie, you know, reviews. So until next time, catch ya.